So I'm Andrew Mackenzie Gopsel. I'm a weed scientist with Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada here at the Charlottetown Research and Development Center. And today we're here out in one of our soybean fields. This is another one of our projects where we're looking at trying to integrate cover crops into soybean production, all funded by the Atlantic Grains Council. So what we've done here is we're looking at trying to reduce our herbicide use by simply banding our herbicides over top of our soybean row and then using cover crops to grow in place of where we would normally be applying a herbicide, just to try to get our cover crops to provide our weed suppression rather than using chemical weed control. So what we've done is seeded our soybeans on 76 centimeters or 30 inches, so quite wide rows. And we've done that so that we can take advantage of the herbicide savings with herbicide banding. And then we either applied our herbicide pre-emerge right over top of that soybean row, or post-emerge, again, right over top of just the soybean row. And we also have treatments where we've applied both pre and post. So we're trying to take in all the different permutations of a herbicide program that you might use in soybean. And then, as I said, where we're not spraying our herbicide, we're planting a cover crop. And so these cover crops were planted at the same time as soybean planting. And it was either fall rye, which you can see right in front of me here, tillage radish, which is right behind me here, or a mix of the two. Or we had plots that had no cover crop at all. And we also have plots in here that got no herbicide treatment. So we have all the different combinations of those cover crops as well as herbicide program and no herbicide. And then we also have soybeans seeded on much more conventional row spacing, which would be either 6 inches or 15 centimeters, as well as soybeans seeded with no cover crop and broadcast herbicide to provide a good comparison. Again, those are seeded on 30 inches or 76 centimeters. And you can see an example of that right over there. What we're finding here is that we're able to get really good weed suppression out of both our fall rye and our tillage radish. They don't seem to interfere with the soybean at all. So we're getting the same amount of growth throughout the season in our soybeans, same amount of biomass being put on. And then when it comes to harvest time, we're seeing no yield penalty from incorporating these cover crops into these plots. And in fact, we're getting basically the same amount of yield from our plots that are grown on these wide rows as the ones that are grown on much narrower rows or 15 centimeter conventional row spacing. So here we're able to integrate cover crops, take advantage of some of those ecosystem services that those cover crops can provide, as well as reduce our herbicide use by upwards of 75% by banding it, and still able to get the same amount of yields that we would get out of more conventional soybean production.